let's focus on KRBL. That's the stock on our radar on the back of their fourth quarter numbers. The company reported flattish sort of revenue growth coming in for the fiscal FY24 itself. Margins and net profits also declined as export curbs kicked in. Ashish Jain, who's the CFO of the company, now joins in to discuss the quarter gone by, but more importantly, the year looking forward as well. Thanks a lot, Ashish, for joining in. And exports, that remains to be a bit of a concern. I remember you saying in the third quarter that, 17 to 18% of your exports come in from Saudi Arabia. You're concerned about distribution challenges in branded export segment. And also, Iran has slashed prices by about 36%. So just wanted to know, from your overall revenue standpoint, how much comes in from exports, how much is Iran, how much is Saudi Arabia, and what's the situation there?
Sure. So first, thank you for having us. In terms of exports, we did about 1,300 crores of revenue in exports during the year. This is, of course, lower than what we had done in the preceding year. And the challenges that you had mentioned, kind of continue. Some of our key markets, we are facing distribution challenges. However, this is a matter of top priority, and we're very hopeful of addressing this, very quickly now. Now, in terms of Iran, Iran is a very large destination of rice exports from India, but it's a difficult market to access because of the sanctions that the US government has imposed on it. So we therefore do not sell anything to Iran as of now, but it continues to be a large market for rice from India.
All right. Hi, Ashish. Good morning and good to see you in. This is Nigel on this side. So, revenue growth for FY24 was flattish. For FY25, you were hinting at a double-digit growth. Do you hold on to that? And what are you factoring in, both on the domestic and the exports front for FY25?
Yeah, thanks, Nigel. So, let me just give you some insight into our revenue performance for FY24. So while the overall numbers appear flattish, they under the hood have a 18% growth in our domestic revenue. So very strong growth there. This is the first year where our domestic business crossed 4,000 crores in revenue. The flattish number that you see is largely on account of exports, for the reasons that we just discussed. We hold on to our expectation that in FY25, we should see double-digit growth. And this is banked on two factors. One is continuing growth in our domestic business. And also, like I mentioned, we are hoping to address the export challenges soon. So that should also bounce back during the year, leading us to report expected double-digit growth.
So what sort of resolution methods are you taking in for the export business? You said you hope for some resolution very quickly. By when, if you could give us a sense of timeline and the measures that you're undertaking right now?
Yeah, so, this is a matter of top priority. I don't have a specific timeline, but we are hoping to address this very quickly now.
Okay, got it then. Also on the domestic business, could you give us some kind of targets, a regional rice revenue? What is the target on that front?
Yeah, so, we had started FY24 with a target of getting the regional rice portfolio to 5% of revenue. So we've crossed that. The business has grown very well. While I don't have a specific target that I can share right now, but we see continuing strong growth in this business because we believe we're just scratching the surface as far as the potential is concerned.
Right. There are reports that the government may consider lifting curbs on rice exports. There was news that came in one of the newspapers in the earlier part of this month itself. How much of your double-digit revenue growth guidance for this year is factoring in any sort of resolution that may come by? I mean, you did say something may happen in the exports front, but on this part, have you factored any of this in?
Yeah. So, the government sort of policy restrictions are largely around non-basmati, which traditionally is not accounted for a large share of our revenue. We opportunistically do large bulk deals when we find the commercial terms are what we like. So the target that I mentioned does factor that in, but it's not a large quantum. So regardless of the policy direction, we are hoping to meet that target.
Okay, all right. Final question then before we let you go, sir. Could you give us a sense about what kind of margin number should we be working with for this year? And also expected ad spends as a percentage of sales. What is it? And are you looking to up that number?
Yeah, so we should see the margins improving over the, over the FY24 numbers. So I don't have a specific range that I can share, but you can certainly expect improvement. That's number one. Number two, in terms of ad spend, explicit ad spend by us is done largely in our domestic business, where we typically work at 2 to 3% of revenue for our domestic business.
All right. And, just to follow up on that, I remember you wanting to diversify your revenue mix in domestic by adding some of the value-added products as well. There was the biryani masala, the biryani kit, and all these things that you're bringing out. So how much of your revenue now comes in from all of these products? I mean, what's the run rate that it has reached? And what's your target here?
Yeah, so, diversifying the domestic revenue is definitely, an idea that we've been pursuing. The first sort of salvo in that direction was the non-basmati, which I mentioned is growing very well.
Right.
The last few months saw us launching the biryani masala, which has also been well received. So you can expect continuous launch of new products in the current financial year as well. So as you can expect, these are small contributors to revenue, but I think the value that they bring in is in terms of the growth that they provide over the long term. So small numbers now, but expected to grow well.
So which is what we wanted to know. Strategically speaking, what's your vision here from this portfolio, the non-basmati and packaged food portfolio, value-added portfolio, so to say?
Yeah, so at least 10% over the next few years. So we already see non-basmati contributing 5%, another at least 5% to come from new products.
Margin differential between the two, because it's a value-added product, you would probably be getting better realizations and margins here?
Yes, that is typically the case, but overall impact on the financials is limited because the revenue numbers are small.
All right.
All right, Ashish, always good hearing your thoughts. Wishing you well for the remainder of this fiscal, and we look forward to chatting up with you. As you said, you're expecting the domestic business to continue the momentum that we've seen, and on the exports business that had some challenges in the past year, expect a couple of those issues to get ironed out.